Hello everyone, this is Rick Thomas again from Advantage Gambling Concepts. And today we're going to be talking about poker. Yay! Alright, so I know that a good majority of you out there like to play Texas Hold'em. And most of my videos, or pretty much all of my videos so far, have been devoted to the game of casino craps. As I've mentioned earlier in my videos, craps and poker, okay? And I've been playing poker a lot longer than I've been playing craps. So I actually know more about poker than about craps. If you think my craps videos are impressive, these videos are going to be even more impressive. Okay? The fact of the matter is, if there is a way to become a professional gambler, poker is the way to do it. Okay? If you ever start beating the pants off of the house playing craps, obviously the casino's probably going to kick you out and you're not going to be able to play craps no more. Okay, because that's just how they are. They're just dirty like that, okay? When you play poker, you go into a casino and you're taking other players' money. The casino doesn't care. So you're making money no matter what, okay? There's no amount of money that you can win that they're going to kick you out for. Now, if you're a card counter or if you're beating them at craps or even if you're beating them at freaking roulette, they'll kick you out eventually, okay? Poker, you can go in there and make all the money you want, and no one's going to say anything. So, with that being said, here we go. Now, this is my character right here. His name is John, and John has $300 in front of him. 301, but yeah. And then we have these other characters around here. Have more money than John does. This is like No Limit Texas Hold'em, and it's, I think the bet is like $5, okay? And John already has money right here, which is $22. So he has the option to just check it. Some of you guys are wondering right now, like, how come you don't use like those online games for live play or what, you can like show us this stuff? I'm actually going to put videos up and present without actually applying those theories in the live play. And I prove that with my craps videos. Okay? Poker is going to be a lot easier. It's going to be a heck of a lot easier. The reason being is because I don't actually have to drive all the way out to Vegas to do it. Okay? So, essentially, I can start putting out live games, and I'm going to do that. But the reason I want to use these this software for the tutorial videos is because I can actually go at my own pace and I can explain things as I go along. All right, and there doesn't seem to be any problem with me using this game on YouTube. I haven't had any problems. No one said anything to me yet, and so I figure if I'm not harming nobody, everything is good. Alright, so basically that's why I'm doing this, is because I can actually explain these theories while going at my own pace. As you can see, there's no dealer putting me to a timer, there's no players complaining that I'm taking too long, there's nothing like that going on. You see the cards, and you see the pot, and you see my decisions that I have to make. Now, some of you out there, some people who watch YouTube are just a little bit cynical, right? And I can appreciate that. Some of you guys are going to be like, hi, you think you're a hotshot poker player? You're over here, outplaying these computerized characters here. And for that, you think you're all that. No, dude, that's not what I'm doing at all. Okay, like I said, I'm using this software right here, this game, because this is a game where I can actually go at my own pace. Now, and I can present the theories to you while going at my own pace. And that changes things remarkably. I will use live play. You guys will see me playing this live. Alright. Now, with that being said, I'm going to move on to something else. The ideas that I'm presenting to you with these poker videos are not my ideas. Okay? They're just not. I would love to sit here and tell you that I'm some poker genius and some prodigy or whatever. The fact of the matter is, I actually learned playing poker by reading books. And one of the first books that I ever read on poker was Doyle Brunson's Super System, and the original. And I have to say that was like a really super duper good book. Even though it was like some 30 years later, however, it was many decades later, the principles that he has in his books still apply to poker today. Now, some people say that those ideas are outdated, and there is, of course, a Super System Part 2, but to me, Super System, that's like something that everyone should read before they start playing No Limit Texas Hold'em. It's a really good book, and it's going to teach you how to play poker. And there are other additional books that you can read. I've read books from everyone, guys. Books and instructional videos. I have Phil Gordon's instructional videos on how to play poker. I have David Sklansky's book on how to play poker. I have Phil Hellmuth's book on how to play poker. I have, who is the other one? Shoot. Howard Lederer. All the big names I pretty much have, okay? I got more books than that. I just can't think of, these people off the top of my head. But I've got more books than that. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that I'm going to be presenting the ideas from these books onto these videos. I'm basically going to tell you guys how the pros say you should play, okay? Now, of course, you're probably going to be like, wow, how much play do you have? I'm mostly a cash game player, all right? But I've been playing poker since 2004, okay? I've been playing poker a long time. I know how to play, and I'm not worried about the critics. I really am not. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start this tutorial video. Now, the reason that I picked John and the reason that I picked this amount is because, like, this game, everyone here has like $1,000 or whatever. I basically started off with 1,000, but I started playing roulette and I actually took them down to like about 300. The reason I did that is because I want to show realism, okay? You're not likely to be in a casino playing with freaking $1,000, okay? Most players that go into the casino are playing with maybe $200, $300 and stuff, especially in Vegas. And I know because I've seen people play in Vegas. I've seen tourists come and go. I've even broken some of those tourists. Okay. Seriousness, guys. Yeah, you're going to have about maybe $300 in a game like this. You should have more. You should have more. But like I said, realistically speaking, this is about as good as you can get. An example that I'll show you is I used to play a lot at the Rio. Whenever I go to the Vegas, a lot of times I stay at the Rio. And essentially, I would go there and I would play poker. And they got like a game there. And I want to say it's like, shoot, I don't know what it is. It's like 2-3 No Limit Hold'em or something like that. The small blind $2, big blind $3. It's something like that. And I believe the maximum buy-in, I want to say it's like $200 or $300. Okay, I think. My memory's a little hazy on this. I usually buy in that game for about $200. Okay, and that's usually plenty of money for me to make a move. When I first started playing poker, I didn't have very much money. Okay. I would be going into into the card rooms with like $40, $50. I didn't have enough money to play the game. I really did not. Okay. Essentially, what I had to do was I had to become the master of the short stack. Okay. I had to learn how to play short stack poker. All right. And although that was a very frustrating time for me, I actually learned a great deal on how to play, how to make money from freaking nothing. Okay, I'm a very good cash player. I usually like to play cash games because you can cash out like anytime you want and you don't have to sit there for like hours and hours playing in some tournament and you're probably not going to win anyways, Yeah, I don't like that. I usually go for the cash games. And I used to be what people call a hit and run specialist. or a bump and run specialist. And a hit and run specialist is a guy who comes in with like, $100, plays, makes $100, leaves, hence the term hit and run. I used to do that a lot and stuff, and I would make like hundreds of dollars every week playing poker like that. And yeah, most you guys know me as a craps player, but like I said, I've been playing poker a lot longer than I've been playing craps. Alright, so now that I've explained the background, I'm going to explain something here. Okay, so, and I'm so glad I have these cards. And I have no idea, guys, I'm filming this live, and I have no idea what cards I'm going to get. I have no idea what's going to happen. This hand right here is one of the best ways to make money in poker, okay? If you ever want to become like a super duper good cash player, for some of you that maybe you're new to the game or whatever, this is the money maker right here, okay? These kind of cards right here. Now, I know that there are some seasoned players out there who are like, wait a minute, let me explain this, okay? Poker is a game of the best 5-card hand, not the best 2-card hand, the best 5-card hand. What you have to understand about Ace-Queen is that Ace-Queen in Doyle Brunson's super system is one of the cards that he calls, or one of the hands that he calls the garbage hand. Okay, the reason Doyle Brunson calls Ace-Queen a garbage hand is because a lot of times what will happen is you'll end up playing in a dominated situation where I have Ace-Queen and Marcus over here has Ace-King. Okay, that's just one example. And usually when you have a hand like Ace-Queen and that ace comes on the flop, it's usually kind of hard to get off that ace. Okay, even though you're basically gonna lose right there. Okay, you're over there playing in a dominated situation, and yeah, of course, you could catch a queen on the river and get lucky, okay? But if you're playing like that, in time your luck is going to run out, and your money is going to run out with it, okay? So, the reason Doyle Brunson calls this the garbage hand is because, or one of the garbage hands, is he says it's just as dangerous as it is lucrative, okay? Yes, it is a powerful starting hand. And it is lucrative. You can make money with this hand right here when it comes down to pairs, top pair, whatever. Okay. But it's just as dangerous. Now, I'm going to take you to another professional player that I consider to be the best of all time. Okay. And I'm going to tell you right now, his name is Dan Harrington. Dan Harrington... And to me, is if you ever read his volumes on poker, you will be a top-notch player in no time, provided you listen to his advice. Okay, provided you listen to his advice. That man can play. All right, that man is scary good. All right, he talks a little bit about hands like this in his book too. And for Doyle Brunson and of course Mr. Harrington out there, Dan Harrington. If you're watching this video and you're saying, this little prick is over here telling people the stuff that's in my book, and I would like them to buy it and read it, I'm really sorry. Okay, I'm not really trying to steal your ideas. I'm just trying to, tell people, what I learned from reading these books, and also, what I learned in live play, okay? Because when I started playing poker, I started playing hands like this. I started overplaying hands like this, and I started losing bad, okay? So... that was when I first started playing. Alright, so Dan Harrington in his book, he says that he gives an example of a guy who had something like Ace-King. I don't remember the exact example, but the guy had something like Ace-King, and an ace came on the flop. He's playing no limit Texas Hold'em, and it's pretty high stakes. He's playing with like $1,000, and he starts putting money into the pot thinking he has the best hand. So he shows Dan Harrington his card, and Dan Harrington says he has top pair with a good kicker, a king kicker. And he asks Dan Harrington, he says, so what do you think of my chances of winning? And Dan Harrington said, your hand is about the third best hand. So when it came down to the showdown, one guy had a straight, one guy had a flush, and this dude over here had ace-king, a pair of aces with a king kicker. Okay, so obviously the flush won. Alright. And the dude lost. Okay, So what Dan Harrington was actually saying in his book is that with cards like this, they are dangerous, okay? But people tend to overplay them because it's a powerful starting hand, okay? But what he says is that even when you do win with hands like this, you actually don't win very much money. But when you lose with them, you lose like badly. I'm talking like super duper badly, okay? You'll go broke. Like that guy, he's playing with $1,000. He's putting all this money into the pot, thinking that he's gonna chase out these people who are drawing out on him. And next thing you know, he made a straight, and this guy made his flush, and all of his money just got flushed with it. So what he's trying to say is, even when you do win, you don't win very much money, and whenever you lose, you lose more often than not with these cards. And when you lose a lot of money because you tend to overplay them. Okay. Dan Harrington and Doral Brunson are pretty much saying the same thing, okay? Super System that was written, I don't know, when was it written? It was like written in the 60s or 70s or something like that. I don't know. It's been years since I read that. It's been over a decade since I read that book. But, all these years later, Dan Harrington is pretty much saying the same thing. And of course, this is cash games. Now, if this was a tournament, you can play you can play this a certain way, okay? But you can't play the way you guys see people playing on TV. Those are tournaments. Those aren't cash games. It's not the same thing. All right. So I mean, cash games, the blinds aren't raising every 15, 30 minutes or whatever. You can actually sit back and wait for the good hands, okay? That's what you can do in a cash game. Tournament, yeah, you got to get in there and gamble a little bit. But cash games, no, you ain't got to do that. But they're basically saying the same thing. These cards right here, people tend to overplay them. Whenever they do catch something, they can't get off of it. And they lose big with it. And when they do win, they don't win very much money. So if you guys are walking around out there wondering why you're not playing well, wondering why you're losing and stuff, that could be a big reason why. And I don't want anyone to feel bad, because I went through this myself, okay? When I first started playing, I would get cards like this, and of course there would be, how many people's in the hand with me? 3 people. I figure I got the best hand. So what do? I raise, okay? Let's say this guy calls, let's say this guy calls, let's say this girl folds. Okay, now I got 2 callers. What I'm thinking to myself is, I gotta get these guys, okay? Another reason these hands are so dangerous right here is because even though it's a powerful starting hand, it's still a drawing proposition. You have to remember, all you have right now is ace high. That's it. You don't have a pair. You don't even have a pair, okay? So let's just say the flop comes for 8 jack, okay? Let's just say, and let's just say it's a rainbow flop. There's no flush out there. All right. Now, what are your options now? Okay, if you're first to act, you're gonna probably make a continuation bet, trying to bet all strong or whatever. But Eddie and Nigel over here probably figured out that you probably don't have anything. You know what I mean? They probably think you're chasing them out. What if this guy right here has king jack? Okay, what if Eddie has king jack? If you start betting strong, he's gonna call you. Okay, and now you're in a situation where hopefully you'll catch something, but what if you don't? You know what I mean? You're just putting money into a pot that you're not gonna win. Okay, that you're likely not gonna win. Yeah, maybe you catch an ace on the river, maybe not. Okay, but if you play like that, you're at the mercy of luck. Okay, you're at the mercy of luck, and you're gonna get unlucky eventually. Okay. So maybe I win, maybe I don't. Long term, if I keep playing like that, I'm going to lose. Okay? And that's that's the biggest mistake that people make playing poker right now. They forget that it's the best 5-card hand. It's not the best 2-card hand. Now, let me tell you why this particular hand is so lucrative. Okay? Let me explain that a little bit. I have ace-queen suited. Okay? And what I'm hoping for is, of course, the clubs to fall, so I can make an ace-high flush, okay? I used to take so much money off of people with that. It's not even funny, all right? This is my personal thing that I used to do. All right. Yeah, this is the nut flush strategy, if you will, for lack of a better term. And I'm sure there are people out there who say, well, you know, thank you, Captain Obvious. You're telling us whatever. You know, we already knew that. Whatever. I'm telling you, for those of you who don't know this, okay, yeah, I'm hoping for the nut flush draw. But what experience has taught me is that you have to play this hand very, very delicately. You can't get over invested in it. You just can't, because most of the times you're not going to make that flush, obviously, right? So the trick is to play this hand for as cheap as possible. I'm talking as cheap as possible. So do I want to be in there raising? I do, if I want to control the betting. You see what I'm saying? But I'm going to also look at my players too. If Nigel is an aggressive player, I'm not going to bet into him because he's probably going to raise, and he's probably going to raise with squat, okay, junk, because that's the way aggressive players are, you know. If Eddie's a tricky player, if he's the kind of guy that's sort of like passive aggressive, he might call, and he's got something. Maybe he has like pocket jacks or something, and next thing you know, there's a jack on the flop, and he's just walking the dog, just letting me bet, letting me walk right into it, okay? Yeah, I don't want to fall for nothing like that, okay? I don't want to fall for nothing like that. What I do want to do is play this hand for as cheap as possible. Like I said, I got $5 in the pot already. So with this hand, contrary to what a lot of people are saying out there, people are saying you should raise with this hand. Okay, conventional wisdom says you raise with this hand. The idea is if this guy right here is playing Jack 8, you want to get him out of the pot. If this guy over here is playing 6, 7, you want to get him out of the pot. You know what I mean? You want to narrow the field as much as possible. That way your hand can dominate somebody else. That's why you raise. Okay. The problem with that idea is you got so many idiots playing poker these days. I kid you not. And I'm sorry, I don't want to disrespect nobody. I don't want to hurt no one's feelings. I'm just trying to be real, okay? You got people who will, like this girl right here. She'll call you with freaking 2-7 offsuit, okay? These days, that's how people play these days. I kid you not. Okay, they'll call you with anything. So you could start betting and raising with this hand, thinking you're going to chase people out and narrow the field. I'm not here to tell you. You're probably not, because people are going to call you with King Jack, Jack 10, Queen 9. You know what I mean? People are going to call you with these garbage hands, and sometimes they're going to get lucky. All right. So with that being said, I'm actually going to check it. Now, as you can see, I flopped squat. I have 3 ways to a flush. Okay. If I catch a 10, I have a straight, but there's already 2 spades on the board. So if the 10 of spades comes, I'm not going to really hold too much value in that flush. I'm sorry, in that straight. I'm just not. Okay. So this is a pretty scary situation for me. I'm going to go ahead and check it. This guy checks. This guy checks. She checks. I see a free card. Yay. All right. Now, I told you guys that I want to see this pot for as cheap as possible. Okay. However, I'm detecting a lack of enthusiasm here because nobody bet. All right. Now, could this be a trap? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it could be a situation where no one has anything, too. All right, and that comes down to looking at your players and making a judgment call. What do you think? Do you think he's hiding something? I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to open for $10 just to see what happens. I got one guy out. I got one girl out. Or one guy. I'm sorry, one guy. All right, so now I have nothing. There's another king on the yeah. So now I have nothing. Never mind the flush. I wasn't gonna make that from the get-go. what do I think she has? Do I think she has a pair? Likely not, because I think she was on the draw. And the reason I think she was on the draw is because she was last to act. And since she was last to act and didn't check anything, that tells me she probably didn't have anything. But it also tells me that she could have been laying a trap. But if she was laying a trap, then how come she didn't raise whenever I made the bet on the turn? You know? So, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go ahead and bet. Hoping she'll fold, which she did. Yay! So, I turned out to be right. Okay? Now, if we turn over our cards, I probably got her beat anyways, to tell you the truth. Alright? But, never mind that for now. Whoa! Pocket rockets. Let me show you guys a little strategy I used to use back in the day. I do not recommend you guys using this. Okay? I just don't. The reason being is because you can really get cracked using this strategy. I would be playing like 1-2 no limit or 2-2 no limit, and essentially I would have like $100 in front of me and I would bet like $15. You'll always get a call or two. Alright, you'll always get a call or two. But now there's like $60 in the pot. Okay? So what I would do at that point is I would go all in. Happy in the knowledge that these guys probably ain't got nothing. Most of the time, maybe a dude has like a jack or whatever, and I got them beat. Okay? So, if they were on a draw, if this guy over here, Nigel, if he's thinking about going on a draw for a straight, or if she's thinking about going on a draw for whatever, or maybe she has a pair of jacks and she wants to see if she can catch another jack or something, they basically got to put all their money in the pot in order to make that happen. I actually don't want to see a call from any one of these individuals. The reason why is because, statistically speaking, when pocket aces goes all the way to the river, it loses like 60% of the time. Okay? I want to take this pot down right here, right now. That's what I want to do. So what I want to do is I want to make it too expensive for them to go on a draw. If this guy has, let's say, 8-9, okay, he can call you, and he's got an open-ended straight draw, okay. What are his chances of making that straight? I don't know. But if he wants to beat you, he's got to put all his money in the pot to find out if he's going to make it or not. And a lot of times people don't make their draws. Okay, they just don't. I've broken tables with pocket aces playing this way. Okay, I've also broken myself. That's why I want to caution you guys using this strategy right here. I've also jacked myself up playing this way. Okay, but I had times when I had like pocket aces and I would like bet like $15 pre-flop, and I'd get like 4 callers, and you got like this situation right here, you got like $50, $60 in a pot or whatever. Okay, shoot. And then I go all in, and I go all in for like $85. Now it's $85 to see the next card. You see what kind of a position that puts the people in? So let's just say you're playing King Jack, okay, and this guy raised big before the flop. You're already playing a dominated hand, okay. Right off the bat, you're already playing a dominated hand. Now you have a pair of jacks on the flop, and it happens to be the top pair, but you know it's probably weak because this dude he bet strong before the flop and he bet strong after the flop. That tells you your jacks are probably beat. Okay, and are you going to catch another jack? Are you going to catch a king? Maybe you'll get lucky, but most often you're not going to get lucky. Okay, and my experience is people fold. In the situation where like 4 people called me, I go all in for $85. They all called me. That's what I'm saying. You won't chase people out, guys. You won't chase people out. You just won't. Okay, they all called me. And what happened was I took all of their money and I practically broke the table, basically. So it was like $400 for freaking pocket aces. Alright. But one time I was playing this way and I had pocket kings and I did the same thing with this one guy, and he was playing 10-7 of hearts. Okay? He had a heart on the flop. When I put him all in, he called, and he caught a heart on the turn. He caught a heart on the river. I couldn't believe it. I went broke. I lost my $100 just like that. Okay, I couldn't believe it and stuff. That's what I'm saying is you won't chase people out. I'm gonna go ahead and use that strategy. I got one fold. I got another fold. It worked. It worked. That's a powerful little play right there. Okay, but essentially, yeah. Essentially, it's very, very risky. Remember, I started with 300. I had like $306 when I started. Alright, now, here's a situation where, again, I can take my time and explain stuff to you guys. Okay? Ace 8, dead man's hand, right? We all know the dead man's hand. What was that guy's name? Wild Bill Hickok. He was playing 2 pairs, aces and eights, when Jack McCall walked in and shot him, and he's dead. They call it the dead man's hand. Okay? You guys know that you're not supposed to play ace 8 offsuit, right? You're not supposed to play ace 8 offsuit. You're just not. So I'm going to go ahead and fold here. But before I fold, I'm going to go ahead and explain something that I didn't get to finish explaining. When I had the ace queen of clubs, okay, I'm talking about this flush strategy, all right? This is how it works. I will play ace X or ace any card suited, okay? And I will play king X or king any card suited, okay? The reason being is because I'm using those cards to draw to the nut flush, okay? The reason you make so much money with that hand is because, like me, let's just say I have ace 8 of spades, all right? Let's just say Marcus has Jack 9 of spades, okay? Let's just say 2 spades come on the flop. You guys see where this is going? Remember how I told you you're not going to chase nobody out? Now let's just say I check it, and let's just say he bets, and because I got 4 cards to the nut flush, I call. All right. Now let's just say on the turn there's another spade, so I now have the nut flush. Okay. He has a flush too, but it's Jack high. What you have to understand about that situation there is this poor guy can't get off that flush. Okay. He cannot get off that flush no matter what. If he has $921 in front of him in real life, and I freaking, let's just say I have $1,000 in front of me, and I freaking go all in, he's gonna call me because he can't get off of it. He's gonna call me. Now, if he's a pro, if he's a seasoned player, he's not gonna call you. Okay, he's just not, because he knows his flush is probably dominated. Okay, but if he's just these guys that like go to Vegas and they're like a tourist and they're just, you know, going around playing thinking that, you know, I'm just having fun or whatever, he's gonna freaking call you, and just like that he's gonna go broke. That's why that strategy is such a big money maker. But remember, you can't do it with anything less than kings. Okay, you gotta have aces or kings when you do that strategy. Now a lot of times I played king X suited, and I've seen the ace up there, and so I knew I had the nut flush. Okay, I won't use that strategy with anything less than kings. Nothing less than kings. No queen 9 suited, no queen 9X, nothing like that. Okay, that right there, that strategy right there, guys, is a big money maker. But the secret to making that work is judgment. You gotta have good judgment. You gotta make a good judgment call. If you have 3 cards to a flush on the flop, and this guy bets and this guy raises, you have to fold that hand. Okay? The reason being is because your draw is becoming too expensive. You're only going to make that flush like 30% of the time, 35% of the time. Okay? You're not going to make that flush that often. Okay? That's why I use that. That's a big money maker right there, guys. Shoot. That right there is worthy of a bunch of videos. I'm actually going to try and do it. But I'm going to fold that. dead man's hand. See, if I would have caught an ace right here and I'd be in there betting, I'd be like a lot of people out there, you know, betting and stuff or whatever, and I got nothing. Obviously, I'm gonna fold this hand, right? You guys know that, right? I don't want to mess with this hand. Okay. Now, getting back to ace 8 suited, there's a lot of people out there who still play those cards. Believe it or not. I kid you not, there are people out there who play those cards. Okay. Basically, this is what's called the gap theory. Okay. And essentially what the gap theory states is you need, like, you can't play dominated hands. So if somebody bets, you need and you put them on kings, you need aces to call, right? That's essentially what the gap theory is.
Oh wow.
So yeah. Let's see what happens. Oh, here we go. Here's pocket nines. Okay, now, according to Phil Hellmuth, pocket nines is a situation where, or I usually play any pocket pair, to tell you the truth. I play pocket deuces, because if you catch a deuce on the flop, you're probably going to mess somebody up with it. Okay, now there are some people out there like, oh, you shouldn't do that, and oh, you know, everyone thinks they know how to play, alright? I can pit my play up against anyone. No problem. No problem. I can run with the best of them. I'd probably beat Phil Hellmuth if I wanted to. Alright, but getting back to Phil Hellmuth, in his book, Play Poker Like the Pros, he says that if you have pocket pairs, you're going to make you're going to flop a set like 1 in 8 times. So if you play this hand like 8 times, one time out of those 8 times, you're going to flop a set, basically. And then each card after that, the odds get lower and lower that you're going to get a set. Okay. So this is another situation where you have to kind of like play for as cheap as possible. Okay. Phil Hellmuth says he doesn't play. What was it that he said? He said he doesn't play anything less than 7s or 8s as far as pocket pairs goes. Like I said, I play anything. If I get pocket deuces, I'll play it. You know what I mean? I had to look at that 8 twice. You know, so I'll play it just to see what happens. If there's been times I've caught like. Okay, so this dude just opened up. I really don't think I got a hand here. This guy just bet like $10. I'm going to fold. I'd fold pretty much anything right there. Because I ain't got nothing. Remember, I started with $300. Like $3,600, but who, you know, let's just round it off to $300. Within I haven't been playing that long. I already got like almost $70. So, I'm not really worried. Okay, so that's the goods on pocket pairs. Now, you can sneak up on people with pocket pairs, of course. You know, play them kind of slow, the way I do. One of the advantages is when you play these hands in a sort of a passive-aggressive manner, a lot of times people underestimate you. They don't think you have anything because you didn't really raise before the flop. So if I have ace-king suited and the flop, let's say ace-king of spades, and the flop comes like this, right here, I don't have much of a hand, but I have 4 cards to a nut flush. Okay, and people don't really put me on that because I wasn't really raising before the flop. So they think like maybe I have a 7 or whatever, and maybe I'm drawing to a straight or whatever and stuff. So that's one of the advantages of playing kind of passively, these cards, playing kind of passively. Yeah, so I usually don't raise before the flop. And a lot of people question that play. A lot of people be like, oh, no, you got to be in there and being aggressive. Even Dan Harrington in his book, he says that aggression matters. I wouldn't be caught dead with Jack 3, even suited. Okay, I wouldn't. Now I'm in a situation where I got a flush, okay? Or I don't have a flush, but I have 4 cards to a flush. That's tempting me, okay? But it's also tempting me to fold. The reason being is because these kind of flushes right here can cost you everything. Because like I said, it's not the nut flush. Remember, I don't do anything less than kings. Shoot. I'm going way too fast. I'm going to fold. Because people are in there betting and raising, and I don't even have anything yet. Oh wow, I have 2 pair. Alright, so you guys saw what happened, right? Tommy's an amateur. He's in there betting and crate and stuff with like top pair, good kicker. Okay, he's playing the garbage hand that Doyle Brunson warned us about. Alright. So, yeah. I need to go a little slower. I don't even really remember what I was talking about. Yeah, I'm getting old. We'll figure it out as we go along. I'm going to show you guys some good stuff here. Obviously, you don't want to play this hand. So I'm teaching you guys a little bit about pre-flop strategy too, right? You got to have a lot of discipline when you play this game. You got to have a lot of discipline when you play this game. One time I played in a game and I was catching like the biggest streak of loser hands that you only freaking read about, okay? I wasn't getting one single playable hand, and I kept folding, and I kept folding, and I kept folding. I folded every hand I got, I kid you not, for 4 hours straight. And people were looking at me like crazy. Now, I could make a move in a situation like that. I could, like, change gears and get in there and start raising all of a sudden. And people will probably be folding like this guy's been folding for 4 hours. So if he's in here raising, you know he's got something good. You know, so bam. I could have made a move. I should have made a move. Unfortunately, I didn't in that game. I just got up and left because the cards I was getting was terrible. They were just terrible. Okay. Wow, dang. That was a crazy hand. Alright, so we have Ace X unsuited, right? And we know we don't play this hand, right? Gotta fold it, guys. If you're in there playing hands like Ace 9 and you're wondering why you're not doing well, that's why. Now here we go again. We have the best starting hand in poker, basically. Well, not really, because it's not suited. But isn't this what they call Big Slick? I think Big Slick has to be suited. I'm not sure. I'm a little hazy on things. Now, people will be like, no, you should be in there raising. And like I said, Dan Harrington in his book says that you should be in there raising because it makes a difference. It really makes a difference. Uh-oh. I'm over here about to play the way I told you guys not to play. I'm making this bet right here just to take a stab at the pot and see what's out there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and bet into her again. I'm just feeding it. Oh no. I'm going to check it. I want to see what she has. A high card. Are you kidding me? Okay, I shouldn't even count that victory right there because that was stupid. Like, she had no pair, she had no draw. In real life, you guys know she would have folded. Okay, this game is a little retarded. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and apologize for you for that right now. This game is a little retarded. Well, not really. It's like I said, people will call you with nothing. They will. But I haven't seen hardly anyone that's that stupid. That's going to have like no pair and no draw and go all the way to the river. That usually doesn't happen. It has happened. I've seen some crazy stuff in my years of playing poker. I've seen some crazy stuff. Boy, if I ever told you guys the stories, gee whiz. I could probably do a YouTube channel off of that alone, okay? Wow. Okay, well, Michelle, we know she's a dilettante, right? We know she's... Or she could have just been probing us, you know? She could have just been like, I'm going to go ahead and calm down and see what he was in there betting with. That way I know what his pre-flop strategy was. I'm going to give her the benefit of a doubt and say she's like this mastermind poker player. And that she's making me think that she's stupid. And she's going to set me up for the kill later. That's how I think. You know, I overestimate people. We're going to fold. Remember, the gap concept. You don't want to play dominated hands. If you get a hand like ace-10, you just got to fold it, guys. Especially, you know, you're out of position. It's unsuited. Nothing good will come from that. And you guys saw me. I almost called, right? Because, like, I was getting tempted to play it. You're going to get tempted to play cards you know you shouldn't play. Okay? You got to curb your temptations. You got to curb it. You got to be disciplined, guys. If you're impulsive and you're playing poker, you're in the wrong daggone business. Okay? You're in the wrong business. And you're going to get hurt. Okay, because you're going to get reamed. She had no pairs. She had no draw. What this game needs to stop being retarded. Okay, I'm starting to get like embarrassed here. I'm going to go ahead and call. Dan Harrington says I should be in there. Dan Harrington says I should raise. Phil Helmy says I should raise. Phil Gordon probably says I should raise. This guy just raised it, so I go ahead and call. The reason being is because ace-king is pretty powerful. And there you go. I didn't catch it. I'm going to have to check it now. I'm going to go ahead and fold. See that, guys? I lost money playing ace-king. And I'm over here telling you guys like not to go all crazy with these hands. But I'm over here not listening to my own advice, apparently. I'm going to go ahead and fold this one. Now, people are going to be like, you know, you're kind of in late position, so it's not a bad play to play those king, queen, or whatever. Position is overrated in poker. It really is. Just because you have superior position in your last two act, that doesn't really mean anything. People can check raise you. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, yeah, it is an advantage, but don't let it go to your head because you can still get deceived in that situation. Queen 10. No. Yeah, all these hands, guys, like Queen 10, Ace 9, Ace 10, you know. Even King Queen unsuited, I folded, you know. And I got a fight with myself. You guys saw me. I got suckered into the Ace King unsuited. I know, I'm sorry. After I sat here and told you guys that while they are powerful starting hands, they're not very lucrative. So remember, you always got to be drawing to the best 5-card hand. The best 5-card hand. So, I mean, if I get like Ace-King, and if I can play it for cheap, I'll go ahead and play it for cheap and see what happens. I mean, heck, you might flop an Ace-High straight. You just might, you know what I mean? I'll go ahead and play it for cheap. But if people are in there betting and raising, I'll go ahead and fold it. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to get over-invested with those hands. Sometimes you just got to play and see. Hope you can do it for free. I'm only in this hand because I have, I was already in the big blind, so it's all a matter of checking it. I'm not going to go any further with that. And some people out there are like, you got an ace? Like, no, dude, you don't got an ace. Look, you would have got your ass handed to you. Here we go, King Queen again. I'm in a small blind. I think this game is just like the one they got at the Rio. It's like 3-2 poker, and like He had to put like $5 in or something like that. Or whatever. I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah, I called. I shouldn't have. I check it. These players on this game aren't very aggressive. They're just not. This guy's starting to show aggression right here. I don't think he has the. I don't think he has the ace. So I'm gonna go ahead and call him. Then I'm gonna check it. He'll probably check too. So, yeah, he didn't have it. You see, sometimes you guys gotta like look at stuff like that. Now, let me just pause it here for a second and explain that. In Doyle Brunson's Super System, the original Super System, he actually talks about hand reconstruction, okay? Now, this little concept is all about reading players. Hand reconstruction is when you basically go back step by step and ask yourself why a player just did something that they just did. Alright? I was playing King Queen, and I was just playing it just to see what happens, and I was playing it for cheap. I was already in the small blind, okay? So I limped in, if you will, for looking for an opportunity. An opportunity presented itself when there was a king and an ace on the flop, okay? No one really bet anything. Alright, no one bet anything on the flop. That tells me that, one, they don't have the cards, and two, they don't have the heart. Okay, because if people check it to you, a lot of times I'll go ahead and take a little stab at the pot just to see if I can take it down. Okay, that's just one of the ways. That's just the way I play. But I don't get myself too invested, if that makes sense. I'll go ahead and take a stab at it just to see if I can take it down, and also to sniff out any traps. If someone like tries a check raise or something, you now know that you don't have to go any further. So that's on the turn. I went ahead and on the turn, was it me who bet? No, it was him who bet. He bet on the turn. Okay, I didn't think he had the ace because he didn't bet anything on the flop. Okay, so I checked it to him and he didn't bet. To me, if he would have had the ace or even the king, he probably would have bet. Okay, most likely he would have bet. He didn't. So I'm reconstructing the hand. I'm saying, okay, this is what I had. Okay, this is what happened. The flop came, there was an ace and there was a king. Okay, he didn't bet anything. I'm going back in time, reconstructing the hand. Alright, now it's the turn. Alright, now I've checked it again. Now he bet. Okay, so that tells me that, and the turn is a brick. Okay, the turn is a card that probably isn't going to help him. Alright, I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't a very impressive card. It's not like you know, it wasn't even a paint card. Anyways, the turn comes, it's no help to him. I check, he bet. I think he's bullshitting because I don't think he has the ace now. I don't think he even has a king. Now he did have 4 cards to a flush, so he wasn't totally bluffing. He was semi-bluffing. So he's trying to take a stab at the pot, but he's also semi-bluffing. And whenever the river came, I went ahead and checked it because I don't want to get into like a big old gun battle. I'm going to go ahead and let him bet whatever he's going to bet. Okay, so he didn't bet anything because he knew he didn't have nothing. He didn't make his flush. And I ended up taking it down with a pair of kings. So you guys see how I reconstructed that hand? That's what you have to do whenever you're playing poker. You have to kind of you have to go back in time step by step and ask yourself, okay, so if this guy would have had the aces, wouldn't he have raised before the flop? I wouldn't have been able to limp in, right? He might have raised before the flop, unless he's a guy like me, okay? And then on the flop, he has, of course, a pair of aces, still doesn't bet nothing. Now it's the turn, and the turn is apparently no help. It's a brick card. It's not something that will really help him. Now he's betting, and he's betting the minimal amount, okay? Yeah, when you reconstruct the hand like that, a lot of times that puts everything into perspective, and you know what your players have, okay? Hand reconstruction. It's in Super System. Doyle Brunson Super System. And Mr. Brunson, if I'm giving away too many of your trade secrets, I'm very sorry, okay? I don't mean to do that. Maybe I'm hoping people will buy your book. I'm thinking people will, and they should, because your book is really good. And of course, people are going to make money if they read your book and others like it. All of these guys, okay, Phil Hellmuth, Phil Gordon, Howard Lederer, freaking Doyle Brunson, Dan Harrington, all of these top pros, if you read their books, they all pretty much say the same thing. Okay? They present the same concepts. Alright? They really do. They all pretty much say the same thing. And it's pretty much what I'm telling you now. A little bit here and there. I'm telling you where I deviate. Okay? Where I deviate. Like, for example, Dan Harrington says that there was a study that was done, and apparently people who play aggressively generally win over people who play passively. Okay? Doyle Brunson pretty much says the same thing. He says luck favors the backbone, not the wishbone. Okay? So all these guys, you know, even generations apart, you know, they all still say the same thing. Okay? Super System, guys, is all about playing what's called power poker. Alright, Doyle Brunson coins the term in Super System, power poker. And do you know what power poker is? Power poker is part conservative and part aggression. Alright? So you're supposed to be like really tight and conservative when you don't really have anything, folding or whatever. Okay? What have you? And then when you do have something, you got to be in there playing aggressively. That's power poker. That's how you win. Okay? And I tell you guys, in cash games, that philosophy has helped me. That philosophy has really, really given me an edge. Okay? Power poker. If you guys watch that movie Rounders with Matt Damon, he actually talks about a lot of Doyle Brunson's ideas in that movie Rounders. Okay? A lot of the stuff that Matt Damon says in that movie is actually like from Super System. Okay? And he says the same thing. He's like, you got to be tight but aggressive. You know, you got to like protect your chips when you don't have anything. Just keep folding, and you can't lose what you put in the middle. So you just keep folding. But when you do have something, you got to get your chips in there. Okay, that's basically how you play winning poker. Now let me show you guys another favorite hand of mine. This one is Jack 10, and yes, Jack 10 unsuited. The reason I like this so much is because there's a lot of ways you can make a straight. Okay? A lot of ways you can make a straight with this hand. I read it in some article or whatever, and I started using it, and it works. But again, remember, we got to play it for as cheap as possible. Okay? You got to be uh-oh. Trouble. You got to be as cheap as possible. Guys, I have a little bit of ADD, so if I get like off point, just bear with me. I'll remember what I'm doing in just a minute. So, Ann just raised me, or Ann just bet. I'm going to call with my top two pair. Now, this is a very risky play right here. Okay? This is a very risky play. The reason being is because Ann could be on a straight. She could have a straight, actually. I'm going to see if she has that straight. Let me go ahead and raise her a little bit. Let's see if she re-raises. Ooh, that's not good. Now, has Ann really been playing? Let's go to another concept of Super System, like we did hand reconstruction, right? You got to look at player image, guys. We haven't really seen that much action from Ann. Okay, we really haven't. I flop top two pair. Okay, I'm asking myself if she possibly has been playing with 8-9. Okay, she made a bet on the flop. I called it. Okay, then she makes another bet on the turn. This one more aggressive. I raised it to see what happens. Okay. Now, she has played back at me, and now it's freaking $30 to call. She re-raised me. Okay, so she hasn't really been playing that much, and this is what's called table image. All right, you got to look at the player that you're playing against. Now, if I was playing against, let's say, Michelle, right? We've been watching Michelle a little bit. You know how she like makes calls with like no pair and no draw? I wouldn't really be worried about this situation right now because we know she's usually in there with junk. Okay, but Anne, we really haven't seen too much out of her. Okay, we really haven't. And if I make this call, I'm actually going to be down to like where I started. And I don't like that idea. And now, is it possible that she has ace-jack? Yes, and she's overplaying her hand? Yes, it is possible. It's very possible. So what I got to do in this situation, shoot, and this is a tough situation. I'm going to go ahead and call it. In real life, you know she would have bet like a crazy amount of money. Let's see what she has. I went ahead and called it down. I kind of had an idea that she had like top pair. Like I even said like ace-jack. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I was thinking that she had. Whenever you're playing poker, you kind of develop instincts. Now, those instincts don't really apply here because these computerized players are a bunch of retards, okay? And if you were playing against them for real money, you basically wouldn't have to go to work, right? Okay, so it's like taking candy from a baby, all right? But I was a little hesitant on that call. I really was, okay? And if it was for a lot more money, I would have folded because I would have had like, I would have just had a bad feeling about it. I'd be like, man, this broad was playing 8-9, and you know, she probably flopped a straight or something, or maybe she has a set or something of that general nature. I was basically feeling doubtful about my two pair. I probably shouldn't have made the calls that I made, to tell you the truth. But I just had a feeling I just had this feeling she was playing with like ace-jack. I thought maybe it was probably ace-jack, and she was overplaying her hand. Whoa. Now, in Doyle Brunson's super system, again, we go back to, he's talking about player image. He says you got to watch players. He says there are people who are like calling stations, you know, people who just call you and call you and call you no matter what. He goes, then there are, you know, people who are like big time players that like, they're like, you know, they're pretty much seasoned or pros. You know, he has all these labels for people who play a certain way, right? If you read Phil Hellmuth's book on playing poker, he pretty much has the same thing. He has, you know, for example, a megalomaniac, right? A guy who's just like all over the place and really disorganized and a really bad player and, you know, gets lucky sometimes. Kind of like Michelle over here, right? So, and according to Phil Hellmuth, she would be probably the best example of a megalomaniac. All right. What I'm trying to say in this lesson is basically you have to categorize players. Doyle Brunson did it, and Phil Hellmuth did it. These are guys who are generations apart, and these are guys who are two of some of the best poker players in the world. And they're pretty much, again, saying the same thing. You got aggressive players, you got tight players, you got those little sneaky bastards like me who like to just sort of call with like powerful hands and just sort of sneak in there, you know. That's what I do, basically. I'll sneak up on you guys with a really good hand. I'll sneak up on them. I'll have like trips and they don't even know it. And stuff. I'm a pretty dangerous player. I really am. And yeah, I'm going to be doing some live play pretty soon. I'm going to show you guys. And the live play is going to be so much easier than the poker because I can just like go online and play. Now, a little note about that, guys. A little note about that. I usually don't really play online for big money, okay? The reason I don't play online for big money is because I personally believe it's a ripoff, okay? It is a ripoff. Now, back in 2006, all right, 2005, 2006, I'd been playing poker for a little while. I started playing poker around 2004. I think probably earlier than that. I'd been playing a little bit. Anyways, back in 2005, 2006, I was living with my girlfriend, and I was playing poker online. And back then, it was Party Poker, okay? And that was the site that I played on. I remember Party Poker. It was such a cool site. But anyway, I don't know if it's still out there. But anyways, getting off track. I quit my job, even though I was living with my girlfriend or whatever, because I was actually making like $700 a week playing poker online. So every day my girlfriend went to work, and I just got up and played poker. And at first, I remember her friends were laughing at her. Her friends, she went out with her friends or whatever, and she told them, she was like, yeah, you know, he quit his job and he's just playing poker at the house or whatever. And they're like, how can you accept that? And she was just like, well, you know, he says he's a good player. He says he's going to win and stuff. And they're like, you don't be stupid, you know, nobody wins. It's gambling, blah, 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 or whatever. And stuff, and she was just like, no, my boyfriend says it's a skill game, and he says he can play, and he says he can win. And they were laughing at her, basically. And she came home and she told me about it. She was just like, maybe you should get a job, and, you know, maybe you should do whatever and everything. Well, I eventually did, but here's what happened. I was making about $700 a week playing poker online. And, boy, it was... I don't want to say it's easy money, because I was like stressed out like a lot of the times, but basically I was making more money playing poker than I was like going to work, right? We worked for this crummy company, and they paid us commissions and stuff, and yeah, anyways, I got out of there, and I was just playing cards online. That was around the time they made poker illegal to do online. And I swear to you, to this day, I really do think that the casinos in Vegas these Indian casinos, I really do think they had something to do with that. I really do. I think online gaming was a sort of becoming more and more popular, and I think it was taking away from their business. And I think these casinos got together with the lobbyists or whatever, and next thing you know, they're like, okay, no more online gambling. You know, it's a law now. I really do feel that's what happened. Now, if that's not what happened, I apologize, alright? But I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Anyways, long story short, poker is now illegal, and there were still sites that you can play on. But, and no one's going to bust you. You're not going to play poker online, and next thing you know, you're going to get a knock at the door, and it's the FBI or whatever. That's not going to happen, okay? Even though I guess technically it is illegal. Yeah, it is illegal, I guess, or whatever. But anyways, I stopped playing because since it was illegal, the sites were no longer, to me, they weren't like really well regulated. And I played like a handful of times, and I noticed that when I played these handful of times after poker became illegal, I noticed I was losing like all the time that I played. Like, I was winning and winning when it was legal, but as soon as it became illegal, it's like people just get lucky, you know? So I really think that online poker is a scam, okay? I really do feel it is. Yeah. To me, it's a ripoff. And if you're one of these players playing... I'm gonna go ahead and call it King Jack, just because I haven't been playing for a long time. And like... there's like a lack of enthusiasm at the table. Oh, I got 4 cards to a flush. I'm in my little situation again. I'm going to go ahead and call that. That's an easy call. Uh-oh. Now, does this guy have a flush? Let me test him a little bit. This guy ain't got nothing. I wonder if I bet like... I'm going to go ahead and bet as much as possible. I don't think he has a flush, and I think maybe he has an ace. I'm hoping he doesn't have a full house, you know. I don't think he does. I'm gonna go ahead and bet like everything. He had a flush, and you know, yeah, he had a flush technically. So this guy's over here thinking that his deuce high flush is good, and you guys saw like he called this all-in wager that was like $500 on a hand that he had to have known was going to lose. Here's the thing, you guys. I shit you not. Amateur players do shit like this. That's why I said it's a big moneymaker. I shit you not. They get a flush, and it doesn't matter like their flush is only jack high or 9 high or whatever. They think that because they have a flush, they're going to win. Okay, that's your average amateur player. Now, and like I said, I don't do this with anything less than aces and kings, okay? Anything less than aces or kings. Nothing less than kings, okay? In real life, I'm pretty sure that even an amateur would have folded that, okay? But here's the thing. In real life, this dude would probably have had like a jack or a queen, okay? A jack, a queen of spades or whatever, alright? And he would have been thinking to himself like, shit, I have a jack high flush or I have a queen high flush. You know what I mean? I bet you I got this guy beat or whatever. And then he's going to like call or whatever. I'm going to go all in and he's going to call. And as you can see, I just made some really easy money taking it off of him. But that's what happens a lot in real life. And I've had times, guys, when like you have like 4 spades on the board, okay, and you have like 3 other players playing, and they all got hundreds of dollars in front of them, and you have the freaking ace high flush, okay. And let's just say that other ace isn't out there. It's like there's nothing else to beat you, okay. You have the nuts, all right, and you know you're gonna win. And when that happens, you're pushing like all in or whatever, and you're like super excited. I mean, your hand is pretty much trembling because you got so much adrenaline running through your veins that you're just like, I mean, you know you're gonna win. You know you're gonna make a lot of money and stuff. And when these guys get these flushes, guys, they can't get off of them. They just can't get off of them. Now, if this was a situation where I didn't have any spades, let's just say I had king jack, right? I have king jack offsuit and none of them are spades, right? And let's just say I bet into this guy thinking I'm going to bluff him out of the pot. Let's just say I'm hoping he's looking at these 2 aces, thinking maybe I have the aces, maybe I have a full house. I know he has a flush, okay? He has a flush and he only has like, his flush is only like deuce high, okay? He could freaking still call you because that's a lot of times what these guys do. It's like I said, they don't fold no more. You know what I mean? They'll call you down with squat, with shit. Okay? There's a lot of people out there playing who shouldn't be playing. They'll call you with a hand like that, and you might be like, oh, that's such an amateurish play. I could have had a full house. I easily could have had him beat with a better flush or whatever, and he still called me. I've seen it, guys. I've seen it. People make calls like this. And I know you guys are probably thinking, like, no one could be that stupid. Trust me, guys. There are people who will call with that and stuff. This dude would have been like, why would I fold? I had a flush, you know. Because you're obviously beat, dipshit, you know. Yeah. That's the best example of this strategy that I have right now. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video just because I'm sure you guys are probably tired of hearing me talk and everything. And I think you guys pretty much get the gist of it. We went over a little bit about pre-flop strategy. You saw me folding a lot. We went over a little bit about pre-flop aggression. You guys see how I like to kind of sneak in and look for opportunities like this, right? And you guys, of course, see the nut flush strategy, right? You play ace X suited or king X suited. and you're looking for a drawing situation. But remember, you gotta play it for as cheap as possible, because most of the times you're not gonna make your flush. Okay, so people start betting and raising, you gotta get out of there. People start betting and it becomes too much, you gotta get out of there. We talked a little bit about the best 5-card hand. Remember, you gotta always be drawing for the best 5-card hand. We talked about being patient and just waiting for the best cards to come around, right? For you to get the best hands. Okay, we talked about hand reconstruction. We talked about table image. Okay, we talked about power poker. Okay, this was the best example of power poker. I was in a situation where I felt I had the best hand, and I went ahead and pushed. Okay, I went all in. I just went ahead and pushed. Okay, this dude made a very stupid call. He really did. But it's like I said, people will make calls like that. I've seen it. Heck, one time I was playing at the casino, and these two guys are sitting there playing, and one guy bet, one guy raises, the other guy raises. They basically raise each other back and forth. Long story short, they both go all in. And when they went all in, the dealer said, okay, go ahead and turn your cards up and stuff. We're talking hundreds of dollars, guys. They turned their cards over, and they both had, one guy had ace queen and one guy had ace king, and neither one of them had a pair. Okay, I've seen it. All right, I've seen it. I've seen people play like that. Yeah, that nut flush strategy. That nut flush strategy is a big money maker, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, and it's been really fun playing and posting this for you guys. I'm gonna have it up pretty soon, and I'm hoping that you guys make a lot of money. Thanks very much for watching. Please hit the like or the subscribe button, and if you have any questions or anything that you want to make or say or whatever, please feel free to express your views, and I'll see you guys next time, okay?